Hey everybody, it's Atheist for the Cause, and I think I'm about to piss a bunch of you off, but I gotta do it. Stefan Molyneux has been wrong more than, well, there's people who've been wrong a lot, but he's been wrong a lot. Let's just leave it at that. And people treat him like he's some god of economics or something. That's just not the case. And I don't know if it's just general incompetence or if he's actually a con artist. A lot of times he'll be selling, and he'll have guests on that are selling gold. When those people, when you see people selling gold, you should always be extremely skeptical. And let's just take a look at this. There will be no economic recovery. Prepare yourself accordingly. How should we do that, Stefan? From buying gold from the services you're selling? January 8th, 2013. July 31st, 2015. The fall of Chicago. There will be no economic recovery. So here's the one from January 8th, 2013. Here's the one from July 31st, 2015. All right. April 20th, 2016. Why economic collapse will happen. Peter Schiff and Stefan Molyneux. By the way, he has some gold he can sell you. Right here. See it? They're talking. He always gets that in. August 6th, 2016. Is economic collapse inevitable? And of course, this is that, economic collapse is inevitable. That's the argument here. He's not arguing against it. He's arguing for it. And this guy, I believe, also is like a gold investor or something like that. Economic collapse countdown. Peter Schiff and Stefan Molyneux. The gold guy again. October 11th, 2016. President Trump, U.S. economic fallout. Peter Schiff again. What do you know? March 18th, 2017. He's still spouting this bullshit. So, let's go back actually. January 8th, 2013. So that's when we're talking. There had been this big drop-off. We'd gone through a recession, and most economists were seemingly... we're saying that, the economy is about to recover. Not economist Stefan Molyneux. Oh no, we're going to fall off a cliff. After falling off a cliff, we're going to fall off two cliffs. Well, let's take a look. Now, this is how an economy grows. The first thing you see is job growth. That causes unemployment to drop, which causes a rise in wages, which then causes the GDP to rise. And inflation. Basically you have, back in October of 2010, we started gaining jobs. We were hemorrhaging them here, especially badly in 2009, 2010. We were still hemorrhaging off and on. But in October of 2010, we started a long point of job growth. All the way into today. We're still in this period of job growth from back in late 2010. That is amazing. No month of job loss. Okay, so why am I showing you this? Well, January of 2013... this is all pretty healthy growth. December was down a little bit, but then 2014. So literally he's talking about in the middle of the recovery, when it's the most obvious. You literally couldn't pick a time when that was more obvious that we were going to recover. Because there was, we had already hit the recession. There had been some recovery already, and that recovery was set to extend, largely because of a lot of things the government did, but also largely because that's just inevitable in an economy, in a healthy economy is going to eventually come out of the recession. Well, let's look at unemployment then. Here we have in October. So as you can see, what I said, so the first thing is job growth, and then here's your unemployment will drop. So it was a month later in November of 2010. So October for job growth, November for unemployment. And then we dropped from 9.8% to 9.3% to 9.1, 9.0, 9.0. Then you'll see an uptick. This is normal of 0.1% here and there. When you have, a couple months of unemployment drop, and you're putting all these people back into the workforce by the hundreds of thousands, some people that had jobs are going to lose them. And so then you're going to, and that's partly because you're going to get like more competent workers too in their jobs. So this is completely healthy to have this uptick 1.1% here, 0.1% here, but then you go back to dropping 8.8%, 8.6, 8.5, and it just continues to drop. It was at like 10% in late 2009, and it just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping, and right now we're at 4.3%, well 4.4%, but it just upticked from 4.3% after an extended period of, when 4.8, 4.7, 4.5, 4.4, 4.3, and then 4.4. There's nothing wrong with that. And remember, 2013, Stefan Molyneux, January. What happened the following month that we were going to, hit this economic collapse? Well, we dropped unemployment 0.3%, and then another 0.2%. We dropped 0.5%. Unemployment dropped 0.5% in 2 months. Then upticked 1%, and then down, and then it started dropping again. I mean, he couldn't have picked a worse time to say we were going to fall off a cliff. And 2004 doesn't get any better for him. And then 2005 continues. Just as with the job growth in 2016, it's continuing, and he's still spouting his bullshit. Remember, he never stopped spouting his bullshit from 2013 all the way through today, basically. He's made I found easily 5 videos. I'm sure there's more if I would have looked. Now, what is wage growth through that time? Well, what I found here is medium wage growth. Here it was at 2010. That's when we started, late 2010, if you remember. That's when we started getting our jobs back. And really, it's up and down, but pretty static until about 2011. And what did I say? Your wages are going to rise after your job growth. Well, it did delay a little bit, but guess what? It went up. And it went up, and it's slightly going up. And here, right here, as you can see in the process, here it was lower. We started going up. 2013, that's where Stefan Molyneux is like, hold on, we're hitting a cliff. And what do? Well, it still trends up slightly, and then we rocket up. And then we go down a little bit after rocketing up, and then we rocket up again. And now it is leveling out a little bit, but wage growth is likely to go up again soon. And so then what does that mean for the GDP? Well, we went, this is GDP growth rate was 4% back in 2000. And then in 2001 dropped to a little under 1%. 2002, 1.79%. And then it just keeps going up. in 2004, and then we hit and start collapsing. And so we hit a big recession here. And we actually lose 2.78% in 2009. But then we rocket back up to 2.53% in 2010, which, if I remember right, that was the stimulus package, right? And that's why this is why you don't want unregulated economy, because you can really, level out the economy with some regulation. Some regulation is perfectly healthy. And so in 2010, we're at 2.53% growth. And 2011, this isn't huge growth, but it's still growing, 1.6%. And so let's go to 2013. Remember, this is where Stefan Molyneux says, we're going to fall off a cliff. What happens? We rock it up. He literally couldn't have picked a worse fucking time for any of this shit. I don't care if you look at job growth, unemployment, wages, the rise in wages, or your GDP growth. All of it, he couldn't have picked a worse time. And he's still saying it. Well, in 2015, it leveled at 2.43%, which is actually pretty solid growth. And, I think it's going to be a little bit before our GDP does rise, because our wages haven't rose quite enough yet. So we're going to have our wages rise, and then the GDP is going to follow, and everything's going to be good. We're not falling off a cliff, despite what Stefan Molyneux wants to tell you. And because, this is really serious stuff. And I've got a lot of other gripes with Stefan Molyneux. Some of his stuff is good, but man, you really have to be careful, because when he's talking about this stuff, he puts all his nice, cute little graphs up. But when he puts all this and explains all this logic to you, right? And then you can go back and look. He was wrong. 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 He was wrong over the course of 4 fucking years. 4 going on 5. Why would you continue to follow him on this? His logic clearly is faulty. It's not as if he's just making this shit up. No, he's got all these graphs and everything. But how he's using them clearly isn't working. And these people, I'm so sick of these anti-fiat people that are trying to sell gold to people. If it's not a con, it's really, really freaking close to a con. And this is why you should be extremely careful about putting all your money into gold and all of that shit. The fiat currency isn't, gonna fall off a cliff. So, anyways, hopefully you guys don't hate me too much. Someone's got to call out this bullshit. And it seems that, the internet doesn't forget, but users of the internet tend not to go back and look at what actually happened. And look at that. I wasn't going to do this, but I just thought of it. Look at the likes and dislikes. This is very, very disturbing. If you care about the truth, the fact that he was clearly fucking wrong, he couldn't have been more wrong. We're now, this is back in 2013, we're plenty removed to say this was fucking wrong. 10,528 likes to 911 dislikes. A lot of people were fucking fooled. Let's look at this one. 4,167 likes to 279. Not quite as bad, but it also didn't have as many views. The last one had almost 1 million. This one only 210,000. 2,800 likes, 186 dislikes with 150,000. 2,300 likes and 79 dislikes, 86,000 views. 103,000 views for 2,600 likes, 128 dislikes. One thing that's a little encouraging, maybe that, this one had so many likes. This one, not so many. It does seem that maybe people are catching on a little bit. But I haven't seen people really calling him out. And then this one has like almost 130,000 with 3,500 likes and 320 dislikes. So basically, moral of the story, don't listen to Stefan Molyneux' bullshit on the economy. He has no fucking clue what he's talking about. And I'll get into my other gripes later about how he constantly blames the poor for stuff and all of that, but for things that aren't their fault. But for now, I'm gonna leave it here. Have a good one, guys, and stop trusting this guy who could be conning you. Literally, I mean, he's been wrong so much and he's trying to like push people into gold. It really makes you wonder if he's a con artist.